Alrighty, what's up, guys? I'm Dara. I am a student here at Teal. I am a journalism major. I'm a freshman. So this is a whole new experience for me. It's definitely interesting. College has its ups and downs, as I'm learning in these 6 weeks. But what you're listening to right now is Ventcast. It is a new kind of podcast here on Tomcast Productions, and what I'm hoping that I can do with this is, it's not going to be anything that you're going to see normally, like, oh, we're going to be talking about films, cartoons, or some social media trends, or whatever kind of stuff is going on today. I don't know. We're trying here. It's going to be a bit more serious. We're going to be talking about some pretty heavy stuff, such as, like, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and there's definitely going to be times where I might get emotional, times where you get emotional, or, I don't know, anybody else in the room who's listening will. I mean, I can't promise that I won't cry on this thing. I mean, there's going to be 1 or 2 times that I probably will. And if I'm not crying over what I'm talking about, I'm probably thinking about Marley and Me, because, that's a sad movie. But yeah, what I'm hoping is that at some point, when you guys get comfortable enough to talk to me, you can just, I don't know, DM me or put a little, what I plan to do is have a little box. So that way you guys can write down or type out whatever things you want help with, like advice. You want me to talk about a situation where your roommate is super messy or loud, or the people above you on your floor are extremely loud. Put it in the box or DM me and I will gladly talk about it. Now, I'm not going to put your name out there. I'm not going to say, oh, this guy named Jacob said this, because not everybody needs to know who you are. And heck, maybe you're not super comfortable with having people know your name, because not everybody's going to want to know that. And also, you're not always going to be super comfortable. So, yeah, we're going to keep it purely confidential for your sake and for mine. And I feel like that'll kind of help everybody out. So, something I want to talk about that's been pretty recently in my life, and I know has been affecting my friends as well as my family back at home and here, is toxic people. There's a lot of toxic people that I'm sure you know, and that I definitely know. And normally when it comes to people who are toxic and just toxic situations, you don't realize that it's toxic until after the fact. You could be in a situation where your friend is making fun of you or saying stuff that you know you're not comfortable with, and you won't say anything because you think, oh, they're my friend, they're just joking, they're just having fun. Until later when you realize, like, oh, this is like a repeated thing, this makes me feel really bad. Like a situation with me recently. I just cut off my toxic ex who wasn't toxic in the relationship, but after the relationship was pretty bad. We hadn't dated long, but during that time it still felt really great to have somebody to hug and cuddle and be able to spill all my secrets to, and just have somebody there for me in terms of relationship-wise. It was pretty great. But after a while, we both kind of decided, you know what, maybe it's not great to be in a relationship. Of course, I was bummed. He was the one who made, like, most of the decision, which I was kind of like, okay, I respect your decision. That's perfectly fine. That's all you gotta do. Just respect the person and their choices. And, I mean, I'm a girl. I'm not always gonna be happy with what a dude does. I mean, I feel like that's pretty common nowadays. But, yeah, we tried to be friends. I personally didn't see it working out, but you gotta try. Gotta make an attempt. Gotta keep it going. Strive for success, Maybe you'll get somewhere. And if you don't get somewhere, like, right away, you get somewhere later on. Anyway, back to what I was talking about before I go off on another tangent. We tried to be friends. When I moved here to Teal, we'd been talking for about maybe 2 weeks, and I started to kind of go back in my head and think about all the times that we hung out after we broke up. He would still say things that would make me feel like we were dating again. He would do things that would make me feel like we were dating again. And I'd already experienced this kind of situation before with another ex, and I kind of realized, oh, this isn't good. this feeling makes me, it's confused. You're not angry, you're not sad, you're more just questioning what's happening and what you're doing with it. Is it going to go anywhere? Does it mean anything? You don't know. You're sitting there in relationship limbo, as I like to call it, just guessing. And you don't want to sit there. You don't want to sit there now, you don't want to sit there later, you just don't want to be there at all. It's a sucky situation. After a while, I had gotten a couple of his friends to be more friendly with me. They've been back and forth with me, like we've talked, we've had conversations about everything that happened, and I learned that he was saying some pretty unsavory stuff about me to people that hardly even knew me. He would say, I never actually invited her to this party, I never invited her to this bonfire, she just shows up places because now she has my address, she's crazy. You know, the usual. It's like going to a coffee shop, it's like, oh, I'll take the crazy ex? Yeah, it's a thing, trust me. But yeah, he would just also tell a bunch of lies about me, saying things that would get me in a lot of hot water with these people that didn't even know me. And it just wasn't cool. After a while with that, after having panic attacks every day because I would see his name on my Snapchat, having a panic attack because he'd say, we should have a conversation, or just seeing him online on Discord, it would set me off so bad to the point where my panic attacks made me physically sick. Now, I've had situations where it's happened like that before, but it was never with an ex. And it was never as bad as to the point that it had gotten. I can't tell you how many times I've stayed up until midnight in the HMSC, just on the phone with a friend of mine, bawling because I don't know what to do. And I didn't want to cut him off. Because, like, a lot of situations, you don't want to cut off somebody that you know is in your life. You don't want to admit that they're just not that good, that they're a pretty bad person, and who doesn't treat you right. In my case, I care way too much about people. I want to make sure that he's okay, that he can always come to me with anything, and it worked out for a while. But when I started to realize, like, all the things he said about me, all the things he's done to make me feel confused, it all added up to a point where I was like, you know what, something needs to happen. And as of yesterday, I am officially free from all that. He is no longer on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. He doesn't have a Twitter. I unsubscribed from his YouTube channel. I don't have him on Discord anymore, left all the servers and group chats, and finally decided to get rid of all my pictures of him. And I have to say, it's like taking a weight off your shoulders. It's a lot different than going to a therapy session for me, because in therapy, you get to talk out your situation with another person, but it can still, like, hit you hard. You still feel the after effect of it, but with this, it was like, it's like getting a giant bowling ball out of your hands. You finally let go of it and let it hit the pins and go into the whatever it is. I don't know what it's called, but I'm sure you can picture it as well as I can. But it's such a freeing feeling. You don't think that you're ever gonna feel that way again after, especially, like, how long it happens. Because it could go on for years, it could go on for months, maybe even just a few days. And I don't want that to last forever. I didn't want it to. And that's why I'm glad that I finally did it when I did. Granted, I should have cut him off earlier, but, you know, it happens. Not everything's gonna go the way you want. It's definitely a personal situation that I do have a lot of ties to. I've told my entire friend group about it. We all have a nickname for him now. I can't say it here, but if you ever want to know, just come up and ask me, and I will gladly tell you. I mean, he wasn't all bad. I'm not going to say he was the most horrible person on the earth. He's not like, how do I say it? He's not Mussolini. He's not Mussolini. But he definitely wasn't perfect. I mean, nobody is. I do wish the best for him. I hope I hope he finds a girlfriend that isn't going to treat him badly like his 2 other exes before me. I hope he finds somebody that he can vibe with on a deeper level than what he did with me. Somebody that's going to listen to him whenever he needs them. Even like when his parents aren't always like the greatest to him or completely ignore him sometimes, because he is the middle child. He is somebody to chat with. And I think recently he did find that, and I'm really proud of him. I'm proud that he's moving on from that whole situation with his other 2 exes. I'm really proud of the fact that he can kind of figure out what he wants now. I mean, he didn't know what he wanted when he dated me. I didn't even know what I wanted. I mean, I don't think anybody really does until you hit, 40 and you kind of have it all figured out. But yeah, I hope everything goes well for him. And I definitely think that for me, it's a personal milestone. Like, while I've been here, considering that whole situation, it's helped me grow. I'm better at cutting people off. And not even just like past relationships with like boyfriends or girlfriends, like people online that I don't even know that have just been rude to me in the past, or even family members that I just aren't that great either. Because family members can be pretty toxic too, trust me. Ooh, I have my share of stories with that. But yeah, toxic people are just not great. And the sooner you cut them off, the much better you're gonna feel. You're not gonna have a constant paranoia of, are they going to say something to me? Or is something gonna happen that's going to trigger it? Because when you deal with a toxic person, you don't think about the present. You're constantly thinking about the past, and you're constantly thinking about the future. And you don't think about it now, but you do subconsciously. You're constantly worried about what they're going to say to you in an hour or 5 minutes or maybe in the next 30 years if you're even going to be friends with them by then. And it's definitely not a great thing. You don't want to spend your life worried about what happened to you in the past. You don't want to spend your life worrying about what they're going to do to you in the future. You do need to think about the present and what they're doing to you now. Because if you don't think about what they're doing to you now, you're never going to figure it out. And that was my problem, and I think I'm finally learning. Something I probably should have done more of as a child, listen to my mom and listen to what she says, but I mean, you know, it happens. Yeah, I'm hoping that this kind of helps anybody who's like listening right now that's dealing with a toxic person, whether it be a boyfriend, girlfriend, mom, dad, uncle, aunt, cousin, or maybe even just your friends from back home who haven't talked to you or haven't been the greatest to you. I'm hoping this helps you out. I want you guys to be able to listen to me as somebody you can talk to, somebody who understands these situations. And if I don't entirely understand, teach me. I'd love to learn more about your life and your problems, so that way I know how to handle them myself and how to talk about them on this podcast. I want you guys to look to me as a source of help. Now, I'm not a psychology major. I can't sit here and say, oh, you should probably go to therapy. I mean, you should go to therapy. Therapy's great. But I'm not going to tell you like why you do these things subconsciously. I mean, I took an intro to psych class in high school. I'm not exactly a doctor. Do I want to be a doctor? Yeah, that'd be cool, but I'm lazy. But yeah, I hope that whoever is listening, that this does help you, at least a little bit. And if you want to, listen to this over and over again, just to assure yourself that you know what you're doing, to give yourself an idea, like, this is what I have to do. And it takes time. You're not going to be able to do it immediately. And I know you probably can't accept that now. I couldn't accept it, but everything does take time. Everything happens when it wants to, or when it needs to. And karma will definitely go after those people. Trust me, I've already had that happen. But yeah, karma's definitely real. These people will get what they deserve. You will get what you deserve. You put out good vibes, you get good ones back. So, yeah. I hope you guys had a good time listening to me. It may have gotten a bit too personal, but you know what? That's what we're here for. We're here for personal stories. We're here for a vibe, even if it is just kind of depressing. But you get used to it, because that's kind of what we're all about. We like getting serious here. And again, if there's anything you want to talk about, just DM me on Twitter. You can look up Dara Edwards, or you can look up at P-sized pal with underscores between P-sized and pal, because, why not? Or you can DM me on Instagram at _lovelylittleloser_, because, yeah, I'm small. I like to use that to my advantage. But, yeah, if there's anything you guys want to know, just hit me up, or one of these days when we get the chance, we're going to have a little box, put it somewhere on campus, and you guys can just type out whatever you want to type out, write out whatever you need to, and if you're looking for advice, I'll talk about it. Just put it in the box, send me a message, and you're good to go. You're all set. And again, it's all perfectly confidential. I'm not going to tell everybody who you are. I just want to keep that between us. Nothing will leave this booth. Trust me. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, or night, whenever you're listening to this, and hope everything gets better. Have a good time.